how much is the team getting for itself?
So we have a very big ask. I think maybe about 6 million.
What are really the benefits that holders are getting?
This kind of privacy aspect, and then also sweet potato.
You're developing your own marketplace.
Come into the ONEvesrse.
What you do, guys?
Sweet potato.
An elevator speech from you.
You can enter the ONEvesrse and begin to live as that puff.
Hello to everyone watching. We're on RENO Discord server and we have ONEvesrse joining us today to tell us about who they are and what they do. There will be links in the description and in our Discord server, so make sure to check them out. And who am I joined by today?
We have me, I'm McFly, and then also Sweet Potato here, and Kletzen, and Volksgear here. I believe we're all from the ONEvesrse community and have different roles. One of them being a community member. I don't consider myself the leader. I've just been the person who's been here the longest. But we also have Kletzen, who is our lead game designer. Sweet Potato is kind of our main marketing guy, and then Volksgear here is just a community member at large, I believe.
Oh, fair enough, that's good. I was seeing new people here and I was like, when did they join? I didn't see them join our server, but if they're from a community, that's fair enough. I hope we'll get some more people from our community to hop on today, but if not, this recording will be going out to them anyways. Okay, and what is your role in the project exactly?
Yeah, I would say that I am kind of like general direction and kind of steer the ship, if you will, and trying to just make sure that we keep all of the things that we develop very useful to the community, as well as an outreach role. So I wear a lot of different hats, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's good to know.
Jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah.
So you're basically there for everything, good everything.
Right. Know a little bit about coding and gaming stuff, but not enough to do it without the help of these awesome people here today with me. But enough to know how to keep a team together. So more kind of just keeping everyone together on the same path and continuing the development.
Fair enough. Good to know. And let's hear an elevator speech from you, kind of a short breakdown of what you do, guys, and then we can go bit by bit and do like a deeper dive into your project. We won't go too deep, but just an overview of everything you do, and then potentially we could do another AMA later down the line where we could like dive really deep into your project, break it down bit by bit or something. So I will let you have the floor.
Absolutely, yeah, that sounds great to me, and we'll have to get you over to our Discord so you can pitch all of them the RENO project. But ONEvesrse is a project that has been around for about 18 months and has gone through a couple of renditions. And we are set on being a multi-game hub and cross-chain developed around our whole storyline. We seek to bring together GameFi, DeFi, marketplaces all in the same place. So we have a very big ask for our development team to bring together all these aspects that have become very popular in crypto over the past 5 years. And being a team, we have developed we have people who write storylines, we have people who are completely game devs, we have people who are marketing, we have people who are smart contract devs, so on and so forth, to where we're able to bring a immersive experience where you can come into the ONEvesrse, and then I'll give you the pitch of the story here. We have our main characters, the puffs, that you can mint or buy, and depending on which chain you're on, you could be a puff or a dark puff, and you can enter the ONEvesrse and begin to live as that puff. And they have a whole backstory line of being from a war-torn planet, and their parents have sent them off, and they're growing up and training and all this good stuff. But you get to go as that puff and adventure and yield and game, so on and so forth, all while having the other basics of GameFi and DeFi on the website. So we have our downloadable game where you're going to be able to have a first-person shooter, a space shooter, an adventure style, and more of a the name is escaping me right now, kind of an Animal Crossing-esque experience. So that's the big pitch overview. It's a lot, and that's why the project has been going on for quite a while. But I've been working with these guys, some for over a year, and they are making the long-term dreams come true.
Well, that sounds amazing. Like, there's a lot of things going on, as you said. Yeah. Let's kind of get into each one a bit, so then we can get a good understanding overall of the project. So, first thing you mentioned, there are some games. You said there is a personal first-person shooter, there is a space shooter, Animal Crossing type of thing, and how can how can people get into that game? Is it like free for all, or you have to have an NFT in order to partake in the games? And when you do partake in the games, is it just for the fun of it, which I obviously appreciate? You know, having fun is something that's DeFi lacking sometimes. Or they can get some rewards for it potentially, or it will be implemented in the long run. So, what is kind of your take on that stuff?
Yeah, so we are in the middle of that implementation process of what you're talking about, of yielding and having fun, right? So the main initiative, the people who started this we looked at GameFi and said, wow, this is not really fun. And most of the games that are out then were not very fun. There are some now that are doing a great job. But we seek to have an experience where you could go in and feel like you're playing, a computer game or a PlayStation or Xbox type game while still earning. So we've had a couple of different betas of our first-person shooter and our spaceship game, but those are mostly closed betas to us. And now we're about to begin rolling out some of these play-to-earn mechanisms that we spent a long time building a secure backend, thanks to Cludson and his team and some other people as well. So there's the ability to, and you asked a question about how do you get into it. So we're across kind of 3 chains right now, and our gaming system has the ability to read out of any EVM chain and probably beyond EVM chains. We just haven't tested too much of it yet. So we're on Harmony and Polygon, and most importantly, we're focused on Findora because of their privacy aspect. So you can go and mint or buy a character off of a marketplace in Polygon, or such as OpenSea, or you can go to Findora, and we're about to launch our marketplace in the coming weeks. But you can still mint from our Dark Box collection.
All right, sounds amazing. So in order to play the games, you need to mint the character first, and then you can play the games.
To get the most out of the game, yes. So there's aspects that you'll be able to come in and just exist if you don't want to mint one, but it's kind of a demo, if you will. No learning would be had unless you had.
Yeah, this is what I was kind of getting into, that people can kind of get a feel for it first before they buy to actually go and play, which is a good thing. We want to see people trying it first and then making sure that's what they want, and then they be willing to buy it and go into the game straight away. Well, that's amazing. Then you have the space shooter as well, and for all of the games, it's the same character you buy. It's just different, basically, settings for the game, or is it there are some differences in terms of like the NFTs and stuff for that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The main character being the puffs, but there's a whole crafting system and maintenance system that we're building to where you'll need to use the in-game currency, which is our token, to potentially purchase or craft these things together. These tokens can be earned through the game. Put together a spaceship or buy a spaceship from someone else who put it together, so you can have this kind of in-game economy. The space shooter that you're talking about, we've been developing for quite a while, and Cludson here, his team, the Labbits, have done a great job of putting that together, and that's more of a PvP action. There's going to be a PvP aspect, and there's also kind of like a swarm aspect. If you were to face a bunch of enemies at once, can you survive? You might earn some Nexus token or something like that. So you're coming all from the same character, but there's going to be different game modes kind of unlocked as you progress through the game, I guess would be a good way to put it.
Okay, fair enough. That sounds great. So you guys heard about the game aspect of the project, which I find quite amazing. I'm a bit of a gamer myself, you can say that. Spend quite a lot of hours playing variety of games. So that's definitely interesting personally for me, but for you, of course, do your own research and see what the guys are doing. And then let's get into the marketplace side of things. You mentioned you're developing your own marketplace, like an NFT marketplace, similar to like OpenSea, or there is, some twist to it or something. And what blockchain or that, or is it like all the chains, Eve, Polygon, and so on?
Yeah, so that's kind of the phi part of GameFi that we're diving into, and it's mostly going to be originally for Findora chain because we're really into their privacy aspect that's coming out. Uh, but we'll have a DEX which will be one of the first DEX on Findora network, and also an NFT marketplace. The NFT marketplace is going to use our token of exchange, which we have out, and sorry,
That's all right.
have the token of exchange. They're going to be able to have all of our NFTs, something that you crafted, some that you owned, minted, whatever, and you'll be able to go on there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we're able to get that into the downloadable game too, where this is calling chain interactions in a secure and private way, where you can do that on the game or the website. So yeah, there's an NFT marketplace that's going to use our token, and then a DEX, which is going to be one of the first on Findora. Hopefully, we're got some backing from the main team there too.
And for marketplace, it's just for purely for your project, or other projects can list their mints there as well?
Starting out, it would be just for ours. I think that's kind of our beta. And if the community in Findora really wants it, we have the ability to immediately kind of just say, they would have to apply
Yeah.
for us to put them up there. We don't have the system set up where they can just, it's not as vast as OpenSea might be, just because of server space and all that sort of stuff too. And it's not our part. It's one aspect rather than the main aspect of the project.
All right, got you. Well, that is good that you're gonna do it through a proposal in the first place. You could actually potentially do that in the long run, even, because I would find that your marketplace would be more reliable if there is a application process, because then you can actually see and verify who is behind the project, see they're actually doxed real team, and it's not just some NFT avatars with some made up names and promising to revolutionize Web3 as everyone else is doing. So that's
Right,
good.
right.
That's good. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes for you. And could you actually tell us a bit more for those who don't know? I've heard the name, but I don't really know much about the guys you're working with in Dora. You said in Fora.
Findora, yeah. I'll see if
Findora.
I can.
Pardon me. Yeah.
You're good. I'll get a link, and or maybe with Soup Titty, you mind grabbing a link to their main site and dropping it in the chat. The Findora is a privacy focused ZK network, and they have something unique where they are using an EVM chain next to a UTXO chain. The UTXO chain right now has all privacy features, triple masking of whatever you're sending the token, the wallet you're sending it from, and the amount. So then this will be sent through their UTXO chain. All things are private, and they're doing some great work right now, getting their name out there, so on and so forth. In this kind of, as ZK really builds up, they've been a team for a few years now as well. So it's a budding community. It's definitely very small in comparison to, it's below like the number 500 on CoinMarketCap, right? but it is something that we really like. The tech that they're building and the support that we get from their team is very solid, and it's something that I think uh, it's going to be on the next wave of people adopting kind of crypto. They'll want. They're kind of tired, and they give a lot of pitches too of why this kind of privacy aspect is so important. Of having kind of we'll go with GameFi up front. You don't want to be able to look on the blockchain and understand the entire mechanism of the game by reading the contract interactions. So then that kind of takes away that. I know it won't necessarily appeal to everyone because a lot of people like to just spoof those GameFi games through the EVM chain and just like front run them and so on and so forth. But it can kind of slow that process down and make the gaming more enjoyable for everyone. So people coming at it from the UI versus just doing it from the contract side are now on the same playing field. So that from the GameFi aspect and the DeFi aspect, I think the privacy aspect is pretty implied, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I completely agree with you regarding the privacy aspect because, in my opinion, crypto is all about kind of privacy. It's a weird link. It's all about privacy and transparency at the same time. Like you see where the
Right.
money is coming from, where it's coming to, but you're not really supposed to see who's it coming from and who's it coming to in terms of who's behind those wallets. Well, that's an ideal crypto world we live in when there is no scams, no drug money in crypto, and all those transactions are just, how you say it, government friendly, if you can put it this way. But yeah, I would agree that privacy is a very good aspect. Kind of Monero rings a bell. That's what I remembered as soon as you mentioned
Yeah.
privacy stuff, because that's what I've known them for. They've been quite popular for that reason in terms of like privacy and stuff. But I haven't dived deeper into it, so I'm not sure how they're doing now. I know they're still big market cap and everything, but haven't looked into them yet. And Findora, they are focusing on GameFi and DeFi, or is just an aspect of the whole thing they're doing?
I think it's an aspect of the whole thing they're doing. They're building to have a foundation for people to build upon, and are working very hard to have very accessible SDKs for devs to build upon whatever they would like to apply it. So they're pitching it wide, which I think is great for them because their product is the chain itself, and they just launched $100 million grant project to where it just began, and they're going to begin rolling out and bringing in projects that have larger communities and so on and so forth, and bringing them cross chain in an attempt to show them ZK in a quick way. And I think people will begin to adopt it. And I know that a lot of different chains are also rolling out ZK, so that's something to keep an eye on. But I think they have a pretty good angle on it. It's whereas Monero, I would kind of say, is more the Bitcoin of zero knowledge kind of thing, and it's amazing. But there's still complete miners versus so on and so forth.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I would agree with you completely. So, how can people get into your project? You said by minting an NFT or getting off secondary market like a character. And how much is that? Like, how much is the mint? How long will the mint be for until people will only be able to get it on the secondary, or is there like no hard cap? As many people as want to join the universe or ONEverse, can do that. And what are really the benefits that holders are getting? Obviously, you mentioned that they are able to play the game and potentially earn rewards. What are the utilities they gain? Is there like they're getting some payouts eventually? Is there any projection on that? Like, what's your take on this side of things?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I'll start at the beginning where you're asking how. Start at the beginning where you're asking how to mint, and then the payout kind of thing that you're speaking of, the reward, if you will. The you can go mint on Findora chain. Right now, it's a little cumbersome to get to, but the mint price is 10,000 Fedora token, which is about like $30 right now, I think. If you, because it's like 0.003, I believe, is what the current price is in relation to the US dollar. So that's the current price, and then that's for the dark puffs. And so there's a cap of 2,222 on that, and there's a couple other aspects that we kind of haven't revealed yet in this talk about. There are other things on this ship, and though we are selling some eggs too of the same price, but there's only 1,111 of those. But we plan to roll out the game only as demand shows it, right? So if we need to roll out another set of characters, we hope to expand this ONEvesrse outward and not too fast. I think the bear market kind of threw a wrench in that, but that's okay. So, but there's 2,222 of those, and there's a lot of regular puffs still on Polygon that you're able to buy on OpenSea, and you'll be able to play in the same game. As both of those species, if you will, the same species, one's just infected with a dark crystal that is the enemy of the whole game. They're going to have different abilities. I won't say skill sets necessarily, but abilities in the game to go and access different parts of the ship because one part of the ship's infected and so on and so forth, or travel to different planets in the future. And those abilities, you're going to be able to get materials, right? The materials or rewards from the actions that you're doing, whether you're defending the ship or going in asteroid mining and trying to find materials and then building things together and then selling those on the market. So you've created your own economy as well as like your own ability to sell. If people want to buy, you want to skip 3 steps ahead in the process, right? And grab that to be able to build something else that's cooler. So there's that ability of the rewarding, and then we hope to in the future be able to, and I see that coming in the next 3 months, 2 months, 3 months. We've been working on a lot of those mechanisms behind the scenes for the past 6. Also another way would be kind of PvP, and this is where the privacy aspect can really come in too, of saying, okay, I'm going to play you in a first-person shooter, and if my team wins, then we take the winnings, right? That kind of aspect is something that we've thought of doing. That's not as far down the pipeline yet, but so there's those 2 ways, as well as I see something coming in the future, the near future, where you're able to potentially stake those NFTs and earn something like that. It will be smaller than you might expect, but then you wouldn't be able to play as that character in the game, right? So it's staked and recovering and whatnot like that.
All right, then that covers most of everything, most of the things that I had in mind. Last kind of question that I wanted to get out there. How much is the team getting for itself? Because obviously we're like founders and devs working on the project must be paid, everyone deserves to be paid for their work. How much is the team being paid from the project? And how is that kind of set up? It's like a percentage or it's a fixed amount, like what is the salary side of things here? So then people will know like how much is going to the team and how much is going on the actual project development.
Yeah, that's a great question. We're planning on being incredibly transparent about that, and like I myself will not be taking any funds out until the project is making money. There's a lot of people on our team who are just hired, and that's what they want to be, right? They don't seek to be, token share teammates and stuff like that, which is fine. We definitely need people like that, but there's going to be a small percentage of the token that is already set aside for team. I think it will be like team and development total. It's like 10%, but and that's for the whole game. The rest is through PvE and the decks and liquidity and rewards and so on and so forth. So that's on the token side of things. On the um, income of minting side of things, all of that money is either going back into paying the dev team or putting liquidity in rewards in the DEX. Because we see that's the big thing on Fedora right now is there's just not a lot of liquidity in stable coins and whatnot for on a DEX. So that's where all of that is going. And we seek to be, once we get a little more active, I think we seek to be more of a DAO kind of thing, but not, if we hope to get there, we can. But that's where, these things are public, everyone knows, so on and so forth, because we've seen that work in the real world with different jobs, and we hope to seek there. So, 10% of the token, that's for team and development. The amount of mint, because Fedora's price is pretty volatile right now. It's kind of hard to gauge how much we're going to have to pay, but our percentage-wise, how much we're going to have to pay devs. But the pardon me, I lost my train of thought. But the percentage of that can vary. But our overhead right now is very low, and that's because during the bear market, and then we were also on a chain that got hacked previously. We lost a lot of people who I would say maybe didn't have like the long-term vision or things like that for the project. So we have people here who know that potentially could be more things coming down the line and better pay coming down the line, but they also just enjoy the game. So our overhead is low enough to where it's not going to be taking up hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, like some development teams in like the bull run might have. And that's so yeah, that is a long-winded answer to say 10% of token. It's variable on the mint because the price is so volatile, but we seek to only do DEX liquidity rewards and dev team payment, like contract dev team payment, and we seek to make that transparent.
All right, that sounds good. And yeah, I understand that due to the market and volatility, you can't really say exactly how much is going where, because some have to be paid, and then depending on how everything goes, you can't really say exactly what it's going to be like. Do you have a white paper with like everything written out and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'll drop it right here. It's just a Git book, oneverse.gitbook.io. It's always being updated. Just drop that in the AMA chat.
Sure,
so there's
guys.
some info about there.
You can check it out, guys. Find out more info, about what we talked today and in more detail. And one more question I wanted to ask you. It's not really a question, but could you tell us more about, your past? Because I think that you mentioned that the project, not the project, but you were hacked before, and obviously now it's you kind of risen from the dead. If you can say that. You still recovered, and you're still here, which is amazing to see. After something like that, most people and team will just leave the project be, let it die, because after something like this, it's hard to recover. But obviously, you're doing it, which is amazing. So, could you kind of tell us the story of what happened and how you found the courage to carry on going and not just, go elsewhere or create something else?
Yeah, definitely. So to start out, our project itself was never hacked. Thankfully, we've done a lot of different audits and stuff on our own contracts and have some really great smart contract devs on that side. The chain that we were on, Harmony One, suffered a bridge hack during the, I guess kind of post-bull run, the last summer in June, late June, July, something like that, where, according to the FBI, North Korean hackers, Lazarus Group, stole $100 million. Basically, they hacked somebody's wallet address, their keys, and that somehow the Harmony team had all of the bridge under it was like a 2 out of 5 or 2 out of 7 multi-sig wallet. So they only needed to hack 2 wallets, and they were able to steal $100 million.
Wow.
So something like, it was an insane amount of, um, yeah, and all that's something completely different, But so what that did is it took anyone's stablecoin liquidity on Harmony and essentially took it to zero overnight, because it was people who had brought in ETH. They stole a whole bunch of ETH and Bitcoin, and any bridge that was coming into Harmony, they took the backings of it for the wrapped tokens on Harmony. So if you had Harmony versus what they called their stable coins were like 1 ETH or 1 BUSD. Instead of it being $1, that was now worth 2 cents. So you went from, we had a very healthy treasury at a point of 40, 50 grand, and that became 2 grand in like 3 days, something like that. But you still had 1 USDC. We still had like 47,001 USDC, but that's worth $2,000 on Harmony, because at that point, all of the bridges or cross-chain applications like Synapse and all that sort of stuff were basically like, we're stopping, we can't support Harmony anymore. Like their DAO was like, no, we're not going to let people go buy for 2 cents over here and sell for $1 on this chain. So that basically stopped that. Now they've begun the ability to try and take these unpegged, depegged assets and try to burn them. There's a long way to go on that, and they've recovered, I think, maybe about 6 million of the 100 million with the thanks of like Binance and some other centralized exchanges where the hackers were trying to take the money out. So that's a long-term story of that. Basically what that did is took, everyone immediately, like every project was saying, you need to remove your things and get off of Harmony for your own safety. And because no one knew really what happened in the first little bit. So everything kind of went to zero overnight. And we got off, like I said, less than 5 grand, I think, total off of chain. And because the price was just flying all over the place, people were hacking and our price arbitraging and all this. It was wild. That could be a whole podcast of itself. But so then we took our assets and we said, okay, we're creating a bridge, and you can move your assets if you choose to Polygon. There's a lot of people on Harmony Chain who are like, Harmony forever, we're going to get through this. And we're like, yes, but we have to expand and give our people options, not just be on a dead chain. A lot of people moved completely off of it. Our idea was to try to be cross-chain and multi-chain through a cross-chain protocol. So taking that, our team tried to stick around for a while as a whole. We had about 30 people. Some of those people were like, I can't do this without getting paid a lot of money. And I'm like, I get it. I understand. We don't. So a lot of those people fell away. A lot of the people who were there just to make money fell away, and we're left with this very core team of maybe 10 people. And we have teams within that are really grinding. So that the development had slowed probably, to about 30% of what it was. And that's just because of general activity, whatnot. But we took that opportunity in July, and we got as much of the things off of that chain as we can. There's still a lot of people who choose to stay there, but we will give them an ability to get off. And then we were searching for a new home, if you will, for a lot of the things that we were building at that time. And Findora came along. A lot of people from Harmony kind of went to Findora because people were wanting privacy and security and so on and so forth. So we end up at Findora, and now our project is across Harmony, Polygon, and Findora with different aspects that will be on each. We're attempting to kind of slide that towards the Fedora side, right? So it'll be Polygon and Fedora, and then if demand brings the ability to expand beyond that, we will. So there's a very long story. I'm sorry, it's a 6-month saga, right? Everyone was trying to figure out what happened with Harmony. But
Yeah,
essentially,
that's no worries,
they got
man. You can
hacked.
carry on. It's an interesting story. I'm interested to listen about it as well, especially from your perspective as a team who were on, the platform that this happened to. So carry on. It's not an issue.
Cool. Okay. So, I mean, then we go from this aspect, we have some very dedicated people, Cludson, Sweet Potato. We have our story writers have been like there with us. They had to like go get other jobs and whatnot but they wanted to see the story come to life. Like
Wow,
they had to go get IRL jobs and whatnot to support their income. Uh,
that's
but
some
we've
real
gotten that
dedication.
together, right?
Yeah, that's some good dedication there.
Uh, and now we're at a place where we were able to kind of reinvent our foundation that what we were from a smart contract aspect, from a back end aspect, and from a website aspect. So we basically said, okay, we're going to take this opportunity to do a clean sweep and kind of start everything with a firmer foundation because we don't want that to happen to us. And so we've done that. And I think, over that got to December, and now we've begun to slowly roll things out, making sure that it's tested and so on and so forth. So all the things that, whereas when we were kind of pitching things beforehand and everyone during the bull market, your product might be 40% of the way done. You're like, it's coming in a couple of months,
Yeah.
This is within 30 days, you're going to see a lot of things roll out from our end. And so that's something that we're most definitely excited about, and working with a team who's a chain that's really focused on security, and with Polygon. Polygon will be rolling out a ZK roll-up kind of aspect very soon too. So everywhere we go, we're looking for that aspect.
Well, that's amazing, and it's a very good backstory. And it's amazing that you guys actually, despite losing the funds and losing quite a few of devs and people work on the project, still managed to cooperate. And some of your really dedicated team members, got second jobs, as you said, which is just amazing. I wouldn't expect someone to do that in the DeFi space, because DeFi space, for most people, you gotta be realistic with it, is big money, fast money, mint, boom, boom, boom. You got your stacks, and then you pay your devs, and they go and stuff like that. So it's amazing that you guys managed to do it. And thank you for actually introducing me to Fedora. I haven't actually seen them before, but from what you're saying, that there is some good potential with them as well. And with you being on their chain, there is a very good long-term potential as well. Because if the protocol, kind of booms, then it will be similar to the project that are on it, and you're especially like an early user to it. So that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, I think we covered most of the things. There are some new people joined, some people left because I think there was someone. He said he had 2 o'clock at night for him, so probably he went to sleep. But thanks to dedication from him to actually being here today. Hello, Doc. Nice to see you here today. Hope you're doing great. Is there anything else you would want to tell us about? I think we covered mainly everything, but I could have forgotten something. So if there's anything, let me know.
No, I think we were able to cover a lot of things in depth, so I really appreciate it. I know this probably went a little longer than we intended, but I hope we got to tell the story of the hack and
No,
whatnot
no,
too.
that's the worries, mate. I'm prepared for this AMAs to go down, for like 2, 3 hours. So there is potentially
Oh,
a lot of
dang.
room. I'm not limiting it to a quick one. Really want to find out about projects and stuff. Yeah, I did mention we're doing a light overview, But if we were to start getting deeper into the projects, that's absolutely no worries. I'm good with it. I prepare, a lot of time after the AMA, so there is a potential for it to go on for as long as needed. So that's absolutely no
Sounds
worries.
good.
Yeah. So as you said, we mentioned everything. You can mint their NFT, well, their character, to be part of the ONEverse universe on their website, or you can get it on secondary market. They're cross-chain. They're going to be on Findora as well, and Findora is also worth checking out. But before that, you check out ONEverse, join their Discord, talk to the guys in there, do your own research. I'm not promoting anything or anyone, but this sounds like a very good project, to be in, or at least to keep an eye out on, as obviously there is already games there that you can play and you could get even in for free. Try it out, see how it is, and then purchase a character to get the full spectrum of the game itself. So that's absolutely amazing, and I would advise you guys to go for it. So yeah, that'll be it from me. Is there anything you want to add?
No, man. I really look forward to having you guys over and learning more about Reno. I know I've had to do this twice, so I appreciate you having us back and scheduling it correctly so we could get here. And I'm looking forward to hearing about your project, and I hope we can have a back and forth relationship.
Sure, absolutely. Well, it's my mistake that recording didn't go as planned. So thanks for taking the
Oh,
time
you're
and
all
coming
good.
here today. Thanks to everyone watching. If you're watching from YouTube, like and subscribe, and follow us. Check out ONEverse. Thanks for being here today. Any final words from you before we wrap this up, and I will get to editing this.
No, everything. I really appreciate everything. Look forward to your guys' mint and hope that we can support it and get you over there, get you over to our Discord before the mint starts.
Amazing. Thank you very much, then, and I'm looking forward to being over at your place, guys. To everyone watching, thank you very much again for being here today, and have a great rest of your day.